hopefully we are live. Good evening, this is Mike here from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And today is Saturday the 1st of February 2020. How you all doing on this Saturday evening? Hopefully my audio is coming through okay. And hopefully you're all sat down and you've got something nice and cold to drink, or maybe something warm to drink, depending where you are. I hope you're having a great Saturday. It's been a long day today. I was up very early today, done a day's work, and now carrying on and doing a stream for you guys this evening. So, like I said, hopefully you're all having a good time. We are today going to be celebrating. We just crossed our 20k subscribers milestone, so thank you all very much. Those of you that have stuck with us, some of you from the very early days when we had very few, like 50, 60 subscribers. Some of you have been through the entire journey with us, so both Kath and myself both say thank you. Kath's that one over there that you can't see, but she's there, she's typing away, so if you've got anything to say to me or Kath, feel free to put it in the live chat section, or if you're watching this as a repeat, stick it in the comment section and we will look at your comments. As we always set out to do from day one with this channel, we do try and answer every single comment we get to the channel. Even the stupid ones, we still do our best to try and answer them and not lose our minds and put something quite sarcastic, which if you know me personally, you know I'm pretty good at sarcasm. If I had a GCSE, I would probably get an A+ in that.
Speak it fluently.
Yeah, Kath says I speak sarcasm fluently. It is like a native language, which actually if you're in the PC industry is probably actually worthwhile because there is a lot of sarcasm involved. But anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about various things. So obviously 20k subscribers, we're super stoked about all that. Also, we're going to talk about the last week's goings on, and also I do apologise for last week. Actually, hang on. Oh, sorry headphone users. I haven't got coronavirus, that was just a sneeze, it's dusty in here. We've got the wood burner going, there's ash floating around in the air, so I better actually get my Part 2 air freshener on. Try and clear up some of this dust, which actually I think it is on, but it's not been on long. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to be talking about the videos we've done. We didn't do a stream last week because I didn't feel particularly good. Can't remember even what it was now, I think it was...
Matthew Day thinks the audio is a little bit low.
Not too sure. Matthew Day says the audio is a bit low. I have actually had to reinstall my PC entirely, so we'll crank up the volume a little bit. Hopefully, is that a little bit better? Hopefully it's not too bad. Just taking a look at the comments there. Skystalker says Mike's still sick. No, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm surviving. I've not yet contracted anything lethal. Well, at least I don't think I have anyway. We carry on regardless. So anyway, we're going to be discussing some of the videos we've done. So we did the Sahara C500B case, which actually quite a lot of you liked. So hopefully some of you have gone out and purchased it and done your own builds in it. Did I do a build in it? I can't remember if I've done a build in it yet.
We're going to do one, aren't we?
I'm so out of touch with what is going on in the world and in my own mind. It's ridiculous. The HEPA air purifier, which a lot of you actually really enjoyed the video for that. So thank you all for watching that. It's one of those things actually, you take it for granted having clean, fresh air. And I suppose it's become even more kind of important these days with all these viruses and bugs, and February is a terrible time of year. Everyone's got over the kind of the Christmas period, everyone's in a little bit of a lull, it's cold, it's damp, there's viruses and flus and bugs all around us, so now more than ever, clean, fresh air is super, super important. If you can't afford one of the fresh air filters or purifiers from Part 2, then maybe go to Amazon, use our affiliate links and buy yourself a dust mask. Definitely worth doing, could save your life, and also we get a kickback from Amazon on the affiliate link, so every little bit helps. Also we did the, oh this is a good one, the Alpine Arctic 64 GT. What an absolute nightmare of a video that was to make, produce, edit. Anything that could go wrong in that video did go wrong, including, well actually I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who haven't watched it, but yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, check it out. It was horrendous. The cooler itself is actually really good, but my method of fitting it was absolutely dreadful. It's possibly one of the worst installations I've ever done, but I did rectify it and kind of rescue it towards the end with the help of some tweezers. And for those of you who've seen the Verge's video, you'll know what that is all about. Before I go through some of the other videos, just have a look in the chat and see who we've got actually in with us at the moment. Now obviously we will be doing later on, we'll be doing the giveaway for the Creative Outlier Airs as promised. Unfortunately, Like I said, I wasn't feeling particularly good last week, so we didn't get around to doing that. But hopefully it's going to give some of you that have missed out, or some of you that have been under the weather yourselves, giving you a chance to click on the link in the top of the comments section here and try and win these for yourself. So we'll be doing the draw on those a little bit later. Actually, a fantastic set of earbuds. I shouldn't say it, but I probably prefer these more than I do the Apple style ones. Purely for, words is hard, ladies and gentlemen. Purely because the battery life on these is ridiculous and the sound quality is amazing. These kind of sealed in ear buds generally do have some phenomenal sound, and yeah, these are definitely ranked amongst the best that I've ever tested. So whoever is going to get these, you're going to have a seriously good audio experience. So in the comments or watching us live at the moment, we've got Angry Doge, we've got Matthew Day, who's sipping on a green tea. Now that's very healthy for you. What does green tea do? Apart from make calf sick, it makes you, oh, it's like a cleanser, isn't it? It speeds up your metabolism.
And detoxing.
Detoxing, that's the one. So if you want to detox, that's the way to go. Sky Stalker's in the house as well. Good evening to you, Sky Stalker. Who else is in the comments? Bootiern says congrats. Thank you very much. It's actually it's down to mostly you guys. Sky Stalker's Mike sick. No, I'm not. Richard's on. Richard says, oh my, the CIT power supply hasn't burned the whole of the southwest down yet. No, not quite yet. And actually that's another interesting video which we'll discuss in a little bit more detail a little bit later on, because we've got the power supply there still, so we will give that a definite discussion. That power supply, actually no, I'll go into that in a little bit. So David Montgomery.
Captain Meat says you are Mr. Saturday Night.
Captain Meat's Adventures. Captain Meat's Adventures is releasing more and more quality content on their channel, so if you haven't seen it already, go and check it out. Yeah, it's slightly surreal, but it'll make you giggle for sure. Captain Meat's Adventure says, I took Lewis to CEX. Can you believe Switch games are £50? Second hand. Traded Zelda for £25 for Super Smash Bros. And that was 50 quid second hand. Unbelievable. I don't understand the whole Nintendo Switch thing. George has got one. I've actually never laid my hands on one, so it's probably, well...
We did that milking game.
No, that wasn't that.
That was a Switch.
That wasn't the Switch. Was it?
Yeah. We were going to unbox it and you said no, it's not popular enough.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Kath, I have touched a Switch. Not a live one. We did the milking game. You sure that wasn't the Wii U?
I'm pretty sure that was a Switch.
It might have been a Switch. Okay, so we have touched on, but I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Handheld consoles for me started and pretty much finished with the Sega Game Gear, which was possibly one of my favourite handheld consoles, especially playing Sonic on there. It was a faithful reproduction of the 16-bit classic from the Mega Drive. Really, really enjoyed that. But since then, that's been pretty much it. Welsh Tony is in the house also. Welsh Tony, if you haven't seen Welsh Tony's videos, go over and check out his channel also. He's another YouTuber. And yeah, hopefully, I know Tony's been under a little bit of pressure, lots of work, young kid. It's hard work, it really is hard work. And I think I remember you saying something like a flat battery on your car or something. So yeah, hopefully everything's all good for you at the moment. M Silver says good night. Good night. Yeah, good night all. Okay. Yeah, are you going to sleep or are you you still with us? Maybe I'm putting you to sleep. Stephen Simmons says good evening all. Okay, so.
Tony, we're in our Fiesta family.
That's it. Oh, we've got his car written off as well. Well, ironically, George has just got himself a nice little Fiesta, a 2006 Fiesta 1.25 Z-Tech. Very nice. For his first car, it's absolutely amazing. Rodrigo says, what's up? What's up? Hi, Rodrigo. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. So next one up was the Creative SX5 headset, which is this one here. And what a weird experience that was. If you've never experienced Creative's SX5, it's a very, very surreal and unique experience, which I haven't experienced with any other headphone or headset manufacturer. The way that the surround sound works on these is completely insane. How it does it, from the technology of mapping your ears and the shape of your face to work out how sound would actually hit your head in normal everyday life and in different environments, is very, very bizarre. Now, I said it actually in the video, I actually used these and I was watching an old series called Lost, which aired, I think, around about sort of 2006, 2007, around about those kind of years. And I got to the point where I actually forgot I was wearing headphones. That's how kind of engrossed and involved in the sound I was.
You were lost.
I literally was lost in Lost. It was absolutely brilliant. The sound quality is excellent. The stereo imaging, it doesn't feel like you're wearing headphones. It's a really difficult thing to explain or to understand unless you tried it for yourself. The SX5 was actually in also the Creative Outlier Gold, which is the upgraded version of these, which I still use, which is up on the shelf up here. But you can't see that high on the camera, so that didn't work out particularly well. The software that it uses transfers between the two, so if I decide to use those, I can use those and it downloads my profile into those headphones, and conversely obviously to the earpods as well. So whichever ones you're wearing, the software goes in and it creates that sound stage for you. And it is really, really odd. At first it sounds slightly unnatural when if you switch it on. If you've got the headphones on and you're listening to something, it sounds great. But you press the button to turn SX-Fi on or Super X-Fi on, and it completely changes. And it sounds, at first it sounds bizarre. It's like, oh, I don't like that. But then after a few moments, it normalizes in your brain and it just sounds absolutely perfect. It's very, very odd. They're not cheap, about £150 I think they are. But if you're looking for a set of decent headphones and you're into watching movies or anything which involves kind of spatial awareness, yeah, definitely take a look at those. They are really, really good. And I'm still undecided. We may or may not do a giveaway on those. I'm not entirely sure. For the only reason being that I don't think I could actually bear to part with them, because I really, really do like them. Although if Creative are watching this and our friends over there have a spare set floating around and they want to send them to us to give away to our subscribers, then we will definitely do that. That may still happen, I don't know. I'm going to have to think very, very carefully on that, because like I said, I am getting more and more attached to them as time goes on. Anyway, next one. So we also did factory reset Outlier Air, which was on these, which was handy. So they're reset ready for the new owner. The next one up is the Creative Pebble 2. Now, I'm sorry if it seems like this is, hey, Mike's Unboxing sponsored by Creative Labs. It's not, and we're not actually. They do send us stuff, but it just so happened that we got some things sent through at the same time. So it seemed like a good idea to try and amalgamate it all together. And they do seem really popular, and from what I can see from the feedback from you guys watching the videos and the comments and what have you, most of you are pretty much thinking the same as me, that it's really good stuff and it's very good sound quality. There has been a couple of people who've said that Creative's after-sales support isn't great, and they've felt that they've been kind of shut out or blanked or whatever, which is a little bit concerning if I'm completely honest, because obviously doing reviews on these things and then finding out that people are experiencing bad service is pretty disheartening, and it leaves you a little bit powerless, especially again as the channel's growing and we're getting more and more subscribers and more viewers. To think that there's a lot of people that maybe are taking our advice and buying these things or looking around at different reviews and kind of making decisions based on it, it's actually a little bit it leaves a bit of a bad feeling in the mouth. So I would we got a super chat already. Who sent us a super chat? This is Captain Meets Adventures is sent us a £5 super chat, and it said, "You're back live." I am back. I am live, and so is Kath. She's very much alive, and she's exercising her buttocks as we speak to turn off the lights. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel and don't know what the hell is going on, don't worry, you're in the same boat as most people. But whenever there's a super chat, the LED disco ball comes on, and Kath has to get up and physically turn off the studio lights, which is good exercise for Kath, and possibly good exercise for your wallets.
Not so good for light balance.
yeah, it's not so good for the white balance. So now all the pictures are going to look very weird, and I have to readjust my eyes, as does the camera. So thank you, Captain Meets Adventures, appreciate that. Also got TechSway's in the house. TechSway, another YouTuber. Do check out the channels. Also, ClickTech UK, another YouTuber. So if you want to check out some extra content from UK-based content creators, TechSway and Kev from ClickTech UK, obviously Welsh Tony as well. Have I missed anybody out yet? I haven't, have I? No, that's it. That's good. Krypton's in the house. Hello, Krypton. Says, I'm back. Good to see you. And Chad Not Chat says, so what are we talking about? Mostly just blithering through random thoughts in my head at the moment. Textway says, appreciate the shout out. No problem, buddy. You're more than welcome. Where was I? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, creative. See, I could have easily escaped that now and not said anything about it, but I feel that I should. If you're buying products from Creative and you are experiencing bad customer service, please let me know. There's very, very little I can actually do about it, if I'm completely honest, and I don't think anything I say to my people that I speak to at Creative will have any influence on the support side of things, because it's kind of different parts of the company. But we can mention it and we can hopefully try and get things resolved, or maybe we could provide you links directly to the people that may be able to help you out. But it does seem at the moment it's a minority that are actually experiencing problems, and overall on the whole I think most people are satisfied with Creative's products and they work well and they think they are getting good value for money, so long may that continue. So we did the review of the Creative Pebble V2, which is an upgraded version of the original Pebble 2.0. He says, pointing at them dramatically. These actually are a little bit louder and a little bit more powerful. Oh, someone's definitely going to screen grab that. These are a little bit more powerful, sound a little bit better than the original Pebbles. If you put them side by side, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. The only difference really is the LEDs on them. There's a green LED and a blue LED on the version 2. If it's got the green LED, it's in the kind of normal power mode. If it's got the blue LED, it's in the supercharged mode. So if you've got a good USB Type-C power source going into it, or you plugged it into a 2 amp hour or above USB socket, then there is a kind of a upgrade in the sound quality, and there's a boost button actually on the bottom as well, so you can take manual control of that if you want to. And it does actually increase the volume as, well, if you want to check out the video, we'll put some links in the description at a later date, you can check out. But yeah, for the price, about £20 at the moment in the UK for a 2.0 speaker set for a laptop, or well, even for a desktop really, if you just don't want anything to clutch up your desk too much and you want something stylish and it sounds good and is cost effective, then these are definitely worth a look. And in fact, that is something else we are considering that we will probably do a giveaway on, because ultimately we are running out of room here. This room's filling up, other rooms in the house are filling up, and we need to get rid of the stuff. So rather than me be tripping over in it and trying to work out where to put it every day, it's probably better off going to one of you guys or girls or gender fluids, whatever you want to be.
Creative speakers have I got?
You've got actually, Kath and I, this is genuine, we've both got Creative speakers on our desktops. It's the Creative 4-point surround system, which is, I think it actually came out in 97, 98. So if that's any idea of how long Creative stuff can last, this is a 4-point surround. I think I bought mine retail from RJ Computers in Downend when they existed, and I think mine were £50. And then I liked them so much with the desk setup that I bought Kath a set off eBay ages ago for £20 or £30 or something. They're brilliant.
They are.
They are brilliant, and we use them every day, and yeah, good stuff. Creative, like it a lot. So that was that. Oh, the MSI A320M-A Pro. Now this is, it's difficult for me actually. Doing the reviews of the entry-level motherboards on the AMD platform is actually really tough, because from the feedback I get from the viewers and what kind of goes through my head as well, when I'm looking to build a system, a budget system, or a system with limited funds, rather than a budget, because that's not grammatically correct, but you know what I mean. So if you are on a strict amount of money that you've got to spend, and every single pound counts, then the A320 motherboards do work out really well. And actually a lot of OEMs use them, system builders use them. If you haven't got the money, they're a really good way of getting into the ecosystem. And if you've got a particularly low-end chip, which you can't do much with anyway, or doesn't overclock particularly well, then they're a really good option because the features are limited. You don't get the overclocking features that you get on the B450, B350, X470, X570, X370, all those kinds of chipsets. So if you just need to get a system put together and you're doing very basic stuff and you're not going to be tweaking or tinkering, they make a lot of sense. You can get a motherboard for £40, which isn't a lot of money. But having said that, you don't want to be having to upgrade a motherboard, because that is probably one of the few things on your system that you would change, which would involve you having to reinstall Windows, potentially reactivating your Windows license if you've not got a retail license. And obviously if you do want to get a retail license, go to premiumcdkeys.com and use the discount code MU5. Can't believe I managed to squeeze that in there. Well done, Michael. So if you want to get a license key, go to there. But this is the thing, you don't want to be changing your motherboard if you can possibly help it. So if it comes down to the point of the next board up, a B450 chipset board, such as the MSI B450 HDV boards, which are actually quite good for the money, if there's only about £5 to £10 dearer, definitely spend the extra money, do it now, so that way you've got a little bit of flexibility. You can do a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of overclocking. Obviously they're not going to be the greatest at overclocking because they're like £50 boards or $60, $70, whatever it may be. But it's always worth spending a little bit more money on the components that you don't want to have to change out. Now for me personally, I would say those components that you're not likely to swap out are going to be your motherboard, your processor, and your graphics card. Other things are relatively flexible. Memory you can add to relatively easily and quite cost effectively, especially if you've got a B450 board with 4 slots. You can add on another 2 RAM 6, easily done. CPU cooler, don't waste money on a CPU cooler if you're on a strict budget. Stick with what comes with the CPU, use that, because the extra £20 or £30 spent on a CPU cooler, when you're really scraping the barrel, don't spend it on a cooler. Use the stock cooler, spend the money on your motherboard, get a better motherboard, change your cooler later. It's a much, much better way of doing it. But the reason I do review those boards is A, because I've used them, and B, because they do actually make sense when you've got no upgrade paths open to you. Say for instance, you're a youngster, you've got a paper round and you're scraping your money together, your birthday money, your Christmas money, and you're only earning like a few pounds a week, just like little pocket money things, then definitely save the money where you can and get something cheap just to get yourself up and running, but try not to scrimp on the motherboard if you can possibly help it. Even though they say that the motherboards will take all the new processors and stuff, they're validated to work with it. And I get this question all the time, will X chip work with X motherboard? It may well be listed in the compatibility list, but just because it's listed there doesn't mean it's actually a good decision. You wouldn't want to pair a Ryzen 9 3900 with an A320 motherboard. It just doesn't make sense. You're not going to get the best out of it. And if you're spending that sort of money on a chip, it seems daft to skimp and save on the motherboard when you could be missing out on a lot of overclocking headroom, features, speed, precision boost. That's going to be dependent on VRMs and things like that. So please take the videos as they're intended. It's a way of getting up and running cheaply. It isn't an optimal situation, and ideally spend a little bit more on your motherboard, because essentially that's going to be the thing which is going to be a limiting factor also going forward in the future. So anyway, that's me off of my high horse. But hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say here. These boards, when people are building systems, it's great because you can look at it and say, oh, I can build this, I can build this. The motherboard is only going to cost me £40 or whatever, but it's not always a great idea to do it. Okay, and relax.
You're scaring the cat.
I'm okay. Right, next one. How to remove the EFI on the PCI Express SSD. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. I'll look at questions. We'll do that. And Krypton says, did you get any more of those sweets, remember, from the last stream? What sweets were they? Oh, the refreshers and things, was it?
Yeah.
We still got some sweets.
Retro ones.
Retro sweets, that was it. Matthew Day says, have you ever changed a phone battery? Mine is £5.95 for the battery, and the best I've found so far is £28 fitted. 2 times heat gunning glue. I have changed phone batteries before, and I've always found it to be a real pain in the butt. Some phones is really easy to do, but more times than not, especially now on the larger displays, it does involve heating the screen up and gently trying to pry the glass away from the frame. And I would say there's a very high likelihood of when you're prying it, if you're not careful, you could crack the glass, in which case then not only do you need a new battery, then you need a new screen, and potentially the screen is bonded to the LCD, so then you need an LCD and digitizer, and it just spirals out of control. For that sort of money, if someone else is going to pay it, like, I'd rather pay someone £30 or even £50 to replace the battery in my phone, purely so if they mess it up, that's totally on them. They can replace the screen or whatever. It's really nice to do, and actually it makes a really good, entertaining video. Even more so if it goes wrong, but you don't want to have that on you. And if it's a phone that you like or a device that you like, I would say take it to a professional or get somebody else to do it. It's not an easy task. And also when you're heating it up with the hot air gun, you can use a hairdryer, but it's just not a very simple thing to do. If it's someone who's done it loads and loads of times and they know all the little kind of quirks in temperatures and stuff, or they got temperature monitors so you can accurately do it, fine, do it. But personally, pay the money, get someone else to do it.
Don't bring your hairdryer, do you?
Yeah, I don't even own a hairdryer, surprisingly. Okay. Bills and Coins says, Mike, why don't we do one giant giveaway night? Yeah, I'll do that at 1 million subs. I think that's fair. We'll do a massive giveaway. When we get to 1 million subs, I will give away a brand new car.
No, you won't.
I will. 1 million subs I'll be able to. New cars, you'll be able to order them online by that time. Chat Not Chat says, 1600 AF for $85 in the US. This makes me somewhat sad I don't live there. Yeah. The 1600 AF is an amazing processor for the money. It really, really is. Maybe we'll discuss that a little bit later. The 1600 AF is fantastic. It really is. It's a win-win situation for everybody. AMD gets to make sales in these emerging markets where the 1600 AF is still super popular. People who buy them get essentially what is a Ryzen 5 2600, albeit at a lower clock speed. It is actually a Ryzen 2600. It's not the same 1600, just changed slightly. It is an entirely new architecture on the chip, so you get all the benefits, precision boost, all the other stuff that came with the second gen Ryzen stuff. So yeah, the 1600AF is brilliant. There's no two ways about that. Angry Doe says, where are you going to put, or what am I going to do when you get the silver play button? 100,000 subs. I've not even thought about that, I've not even considered it. If I do get it, it's definitely going to go somewhere in view so people can see it.
Really query head. Look like hair from a distance.
It would be nice if I had a nice enough bathroom to put them in the bathroom, but I don't, so I won't.
It's nearly as big as our bathroom. I don't even know how big it is.
Click to UK says, do kids even have paper rounds anymore? I think some of them still do. It's not the norm. I don't think it's as much as people used to. I used to see, like most mornings, I used to help a friend with his paper round sometimes. And yeah, you'd quite often go to the news agent and there'll be like 5, 6, 7 kids all on bikes doing different rounds, where I don't think it's quite as much as that these days, maybe the odd 1 or 2.
Online papers.
Yeah, online's killed it. Marco420 says, hell. and then says hello. Hi Marco. Skystalker says, well, I spent over 5 million Canadian rupees on his motherboard. Not the best value for money. No. $500 on anything is not good.
Car?
Maybe a car. But anything in computing is not a great idea. Graphics cards, it still gets me. I'm in a position now where I could quite easily buy a graphics card of that kind of realm for review purposes and what have you, and either then sell it or do something with it. But I still can't get my head around it that I've always been of the mentality that I buy a graphics card that is kind of at the sweet spot of performance and price. Probably more so price would take a larger kind of a larger sway on that. So I've always preferred to spend around about the 150 to maybe £200 on a graphics card, which I know for most of you say, well, that's not enough, you should be spending more than that. But that generally tends to be where the sweet spot is. After that, it's kind of diminishing returns for your money. And when you go up to those heady heights of kind of like 700 to £1,000 graphics cards, really that is just a willy waggling contest, isn't it? It's not really, you're not going to get that much benefit. Maybe if you're a video editor or doing 4K stuff, maybe you can justify it. Or if you're a pro gamer, possibly, but even then, do you really need that faster graphics card? I don't know. It's nice to have, don't get me wrong, and if somebody wants to give me one, absolutely fine. But I always still think that it's, the value end of the market, to me, is far more important than the kind of...
Hence why you had an Android for so long.
Yeah, that's why I had an Android for a long time. But that is what I think the market is about. If you look at the... Well, actually, I say this all the time. If you go to look at the Steam hardware thing to see what people are using, pretty much all gamers are still playing 1080p. Most have got graphics cards which are kind of 4 gig, maybe 6 tops. The majority of people are on the kind of mid to low end gaming stuff. That is where the market is. Anyway, moving on. ClickTech UK says, I messed up my phone trying to replace the camera lens which got cracked. Yeah, what phone was it I had? I did have a phone where I tried to replace something. Oh, I think it was the iPhone 4S. And that was doing something with it. And I remember the camera not working very well after that. That was bad.
You replaced the screen and you forgot to take the sticky back off of it.
Oh yeah, I did that as well. Yeah, I replaced the screen, or the digitizer and screen. And there was a protective coating that went along the back. But it was supposed to be a protective coating which was reflective, so it stopped the bars at the back of the screen coming through. So I peeled it off and put it all together, and when you looked at the phone on most angles, you could see these kind of horizontal bars on it, and yeah, that was not great.
Then I think you broke it, put another one on, didn't you?
Yeah, then took it apart and then broke it, trying to refix it. It wasn't good. Sky Circle says, lol, Mike, don't say that, you might actually get there. If I get to 1 million subs, I would quite happily give away a car. I actually would. I think if I got to the point of 1 million subs, your income must be so phenomenal that you could probably afford to buy a car every month. I don't think people realise how much money that the YouTubers with 1 million subs or that kind of view count are actually making. They must be making thousands, or tens of thousands a month. They must be. Kath's disagreeing, but I definitely think they are.
It depends what subject as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends on the subject and all that kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, Matthew Day says a brand new Hot Wheels car, straight from the dealership, i.e. Toys R Us. Oh no, they don't exist anymore. We'll have to go to Smith's.
Smythe's in it.
Angry Doe says, don't forget about me when you have 1 million subs. And Bills of Coins says, no, I was talking about a bunch of little giveaways so you can clear up the room. Well, actually, going back to that, we might as well talk about that now, actually. What I'm going to do, for those of you that are members of our Discord community, what I've decided to do, or Kath's kind of suggested, and I think is actually a really good idea, what we're going to do is for our Discord members, we're going to create a new room in the Discord chat, and it's going to be called Bits I Want to Get Rid of, or something like that. Bits I Don't Want, or crap this in the way. yeah, or stuff the cats sleep on. That's probably more accurate.
Cat beds.
Cat beds for sale. So what we're going to do is we're going to give stuff away pretty much. All I'm going to ask for is a donation for the postage and packing and all that kind of stuff. Because obviously depending where you live, it's going to cost me a fortune, especially seeing as like cases are quite expensive to send out. So that's going to be coming up shortly. So if you're not a member of our Discord community already, then why are you not? Join the Discord, get involved, and talk to other like-minded people, which is probably not a great idea. But anyway, so if there's any stuff that I've got which is getting in my way and I'm thinking, right, I'm not going to use it, or I think someone else will make better use of it, I'll be offering it up in the Discord, I'll post it, I'll do an @everyone tag or something along those lines, so you'll all get to see it at the same time, and well, you can argue amongst yourselves who gets it, okay?
Once it's gone, it gets deleted.
Yeah, and once it's gone, it'll get deleted out of the room, so anything which is in the room which is current is up for grabs. Does that sound fair? I don't know, tell me, let me know in the comments. Do you think that's fair? Obviously, as well, that is open to overseas viewers and Discord users, so obviously, if you're paying the postage, it's fine by me. If you want it and you want to pay the postage, that's totally fine. But I'll put a sticky on the top of the group so you know what the deal is and about the postage rates and all that kind of stuff and insurance. So we'll make it so it's completely transparent, and yeah, we'll hopefully give some of this stuff away to some of you lucky people. And you can help me out so I can actually get some of my living space back. Inova says, hello from Colombia. I like your videos, very helpful. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for watching. Marco420 says, use it as a test bench. What am I using as a test bench? Not sure what that was in relation. Was that in relation to the motherboards, possibly? I don't know. Chad, not chat, says, it sounds like you were a very big fan of the RX 570, 580 with that GPU budget. Yeah, actually the RX 580, I've got one running in the streaming PC now, and that is actually what streams this content every Saturday night. And also I use it to do the recordings on the computer, and I use it for a little bit of gaming as well. It's actually, the RX 580 is a fantastic card. It's powerful enough to play AAA games and cheap enough to be kind of bought by anyone really within a certain range. Like that one I swapped it for an old GTX 970. So it had an approximate value at the time of about £100 on the used market. So for £100 for RX 580, you do get an amazing amount of performance for the money, you really do. What else have I not seen? Marco420 says, are you getting VR for Half-Life Alyx, Mike? If you don't have space near your PC, you can stream to a wireless Oculus Quest over 5G or 5 gigahertz. I've got to be honest with you, the more I've been seeing about it recently, about VR, I am interested. I've got to be honest with you, I don't know enough about it to kind of immerse myself in it, excuse the pun, but I would really like to experience it. Because it does look, the Beat Saber game I've seen, that looks like is one of those kind of games that anyone can pick up and is kind of rewarded in, if you're skillful you get rewarded, so it's one of those things which there's a learning thing. Kath says Sky Stalker's got, so maybe we can discuss that in a Discord and see what he thinks of it. But I did think there was a very cost-effective VR setup. I'm not too sure which one it was, but yeah, I'm definitely going to look into it, and I did like Half-Life, so yeah, maybe. But then saying that, I didn't like the Alyx character in Half-Life. That probably makes me a bad person, and I probably am going to go to hell and burn in a fiery pit. But I didn't like that character. It just seemed, I don't know, it just didn't seem to fit. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Sky Stalker says, Mike, I spent $1 million Canadian on a 2080 Super. Not good value for money, but is a really great experiment, or really great to experiment with. If you've got the disposable income to get it, totally get it. I still do find it really difficult to spend my disposable income on high price value parts. I really do. I've been looking at CPUs recently, and I've said this before, the Ryzen 5 3600, which I've got, which is in my video editing PC, I cannot see the difference between that and my Ryzen 1700X. I genuinely can't. In between the two systems, which were approximately the same spec, even with the same graphics card, same amount of RAM, slightly different motherboard, I really, really struggle to see a tangible difference in performance between them. I really do. And the Ryzen 1700X you can pick up £130. The Ryzen 5 3600 probably about 160, 170. So even though it's kind of effectively 2 generations, although it's technically 1 generation, but it's quite a big step, but it doesn't seem to improve performance massively. Not in kind of night and day, as in what it was between the Intel i7 2600K, between that and the Ryzen 7 1700, which I did see a massive difference in. So it just seems to be that there isn't those big performance leaps that we would like to see anymore. And it almost makes it to the point of, why am I upgrading? What is the tangible benefits? And I do struggle with that all the time. It is a really, really difficult thing. Like the PCs I've got around me, Caf's is a Ryzen 7 1700, mine's a Ryzen 5 3600, that one's the 1700X. They all seem very, very similar. Caf's does seem slightly slower because it's a 1700 and it's clocked slower.
6 million windows open.
There's 17,000 windows open on Caf's PC.
Windows as Skywalker pays for his goods.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff open on that. So that does make a difference.
I'm busy.
Yeah, Caf is busy. Textway, I'm using a 1070 GPU on my PC for 1080p gaming. It works absolutely fine for any game I've thrown at it so far. Textway, I'm in the same boat as you. I've got the EVGA 1070 SC, I think. Yeah, SC, which is on my video editing PC. I edit in 1440p. I play games 1440p on a 32-inch FreeSync monitor. It's absolutely fine. I don't experience any slowdowns. I still get ridiculous frames per second, or well over 60 frames per second in every game. Motion blur turned off, obviously. But yeah, the 1070 is still an amazing card, and actually difficult to upgrade from. Where else we did? Captain Meets Adventures. Have you seen the Ford versus Ferrari movie? Slightly off topic, but yes, I actually watched that on yesterday? Friday. Yeah, I think I watched it on Friday. I skipped through some of it.
It's not yesterday.
It might have been Thursday. It was one day this week. I have seen it.
I thought you were watching.
But I did skip through some of it because it was a little bit slow. Kath thought I was watching Days of Thunder, which those of you who have watched Days of Thunder from 1994 or 3.
90.
No, it wasn't that old.
It is. It was when I passed my driving test.
Oh, was it? Okay. So yeah, if you've seen Days of Thunder, Ford versus Ferrari is essentially that, but with a less happy ending. Spoiler alert.
1990.
Matthew D says, "Oh yes, must sort out a case. Cat hair optional." Oh right, yeah. Going back to our Discord, Matthew, you're more than welcome. I did kind of slightly promise one of the cases to Seam at Night, so we'll be sorting him one out for next week. But yeah, the cases that we're getting in for review, if they're in my way, they can be in your way, and at your financial cost. Welsh Tony says, room name suggestion, the shit that I don't want. That works. And Cass put a link to the Discord so you can all join if you wish to. Bills and Coin says, Mike, has Brexit affected technology prices in the UK? I don't think it has. Brexit hasn't affected pricing as much as the export bills have in the US. which has had a knock-on effect for import tariffs in the US. So all the stuff coming in from China, etc., is more expensive. So things like power supplies, motherboards, all that kind of stuff. Power supplies seem to have gone up more so than the other things at the moment, it seems. So the knock-on effect of that coming into the US, we've had the knock-on effect from that, but not directly as a part of Brexit.
But Wetherspoons are doing cheaper European drinks for Brexit.
Really? What else have we got? Texway says, I accidentally put the RF controller for the Sahara Gaming RGB fans through the tumble dryer earlier and it still works. Bonus. Should have added that to the review. It also is semi-tumble dryer proof. Robert Hutchinson says, hi Mike, what new tech are you most excited about? Greetings from Northern Ireland. Greetings to you in Northern Ireland. What new tech am I most excited about? It's really sad actually. I think the thing I'm most excited about is the intercompatibility between smart home equipment. So for those of you who don't know, Amazon, Apple, Google, I think that's the main players. Oh, and Microsoft, of course, slightly trailing at the rear. They've all agreed to work on a new interoperable standard for home appliances, home automation, all that kind of stuff. So I think that is going to be the thing that actually makes home automation technology take off and actually work as it should do. At the moment, there's a really big cut between the Amazon side and the Google side. I'm not going to mention their names because I'll set off all your devices. But there is a big divide, and there's certain devices which work well on one side and not on the other, and vice versa. Certain things like IMU, for instance, their Wi-Fi cameras, they work reasonably well with Google, but they work better with the Amazon services. And also, it's actually going to be interesting because Amazon have got their own brand of cameras, Wi-Fi cameras called Blink, which hopefully we'll be doing some reviews of shortly. But they are Amazon company, and obviously they work predominantly with Amazon devices such as the Show and things like that. And Kath's blinking in the background. Could you stop that? I'm trying to be professional. Yeah. So yeah, they obviously work really well with the Amazon devices, and they would do because obviously it's a parent company, etc. So if you decide to go for those cameras, you ideally then need to be on that ecosystem, which then means that devices which work with your other ecosystem are kind of redundant, or you've got to sell them or do whatever with. So I think that's where people are really, really scared of at the moment, because you don't want to make a massive investment into home security or to speakers like around the house, all that kind of stuff, because you don't know which technology is going to be the winner. It's kind of like VHS and Betamax all over again, where kind of you know that one side's going to win out, but people are hoping it's going to be Betamax because it's better quality and all that kind of stuff. But it turned out to be VHS, and we all got shafted for it. But that is how it goes sometimes. So the fact that these companies are going to work together to try and standardize the standards, if that's a thing, that for me is really exciting, and it means that everything you buy is going to work well with all the devices, which I think is long, long overdue. On a more positive note, I think Big Navi for graphics cards is going to be really good. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to be sticking my hands in my pocket to go out and buy one, but it would be really nice to see Nvidia have some competition at that high end to try and bring the prices back down to kind of maybe punch in the eye price, or punch in the eye feeling prices, rather than kind of nosebleed inducing prices as they are at the moment. They are extremely, extremely expensive for what they are. And actually, I did look at an interesting category. I did look at an interesting article about the kind of the flagship graphics card prices as they've gradually rose, and how it moves so much away from inflation is ridiculous. It's kind of, I think it was like 300% dearer now than what they were originally. Just insane. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, that's it. Chat Not Chat says, yeah, I'm watching on the RX Pulse 580 8GB, really nice. But I still got a CPU to upgrade. Okay. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, don't forget you are a free channel. Let the winners pay. Okay, seems reasonable.
Feel free to.
Beat Saber is really fun. You can import custom songs. Now that would be really good. I really do want to play Beat Saber. It's one of those things that I'm actually considering going out and buying purely because I just want to play that, which I haven't had that feeling or that urge since Wii Sports, which is like, I need to play that. So Beat Saber, very similar kind of thing, I suppose, controlling with your hands, almost semi-VR. I think that's what people really want, or it's just the fact I want to use a lightsaber. Rodrigo says, Mike, what are your thoughts on the UK leaving the EU?
Right, we have to skip that one.
Yeah, we'll skip that one because it's a little bit too political, but essentially, I don't really have any thoughts on it. It doesn't really, I know it sounds really like blasé and all that, but it doesn't really bother me because regardless of what happens, the world's going to keep spinning, the sun's going to rise in the morning, and we're all going to still pay taxes. We might pay less, we might pay more, whatever the case may be.
We can't do much.
Realistically, there's nothing we can do, even on a grassroots level, so it is what it is. It's like weather cycles. You go through cycles of like it being very hot, and then you get very cold, and politics is seasonal. It changes all the time. So whatever the outlook is at the moment is going to be completely different in a couple of years' time or a year's time. So let's not get bogged down by who's voted where. It is what it is. It's sad in some respects that we've had to leave the EU. There's obviously reasons for the breakup, etc. But it is what it is, and as an individual, really, it doesn't affect me as much as I don't think it does affect individuals as much as some people like to think it does. Yeah, maybe if you go on like foreign holidays all the time, then yeah, maybe it's going to affect you, or you work abroad, then yeah, it's going to affect you. But for me personally, as an individual, I don't travel a great deal. My audience and my work with you guys is global, so being not a member of the EU doesn't affect me being able to speak to or have people from the EU watch or interact with us. So for me personally, it doesn't make a great deal of difference. Why can't we all just get along? That's what it comes down to. There'll be another hot potato coming along soon, so we'll see. Matthew Day says, I think my first 486 cost me more than anything since. Yeah, we had we didn't even have a 486. We started out with a 386, an SX, a 386 SX, I think. And then we upgraded to a 486 DX233. And for those of you who think I'm just talking numbers, those processors did exist, look it up. It'll be on Wikipedia.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Angry Doge says, is Intel going irrelevant and bankrupt now that Team Orange are in the league? No. Intel are still massively in front of anybody else in the CPU or semiconductor business. They've got their own fabs, they've got their own R&D department. The R&D department at Intel spends more on research every year than AMD's entire earnings. Just put that into perspective, and R&D at Intel is only about 10%. So it's Intel make an absolutely astonishing amount of money, and will continue to do that. A lot of the intellectual properties that both AMD and Intel use, and other manufacturers, Broadcom, ARM, etc., even other patent holders such as Microsoft, Google, etc., they've all got their fingers in each other's pies. So it's difficult for any of them to go really badly wrong. Samsung as well. They all get involved in each other's business and own intellectual property that they each own. So no one of them wants any of the others to go out of business, because it means then they can't use their intellectual properties, etc. It's a messy business. It really is. Skystalker says there was a huge difference between the 1800X and the 1900X on the same MOBO and CPU. Well, that's 3900, sorry. Yeah, I would hope so as well, because that is quite a difference price point wise as well. Yeah, that's odd actually. I suppose is the 3900X got a higher core count? No, it hasn't, has it? It's an 8-core, 16 thread. So actually, yeah, that's quite impressive that there was a huge difference. Marco's put some interesting stuff there, so I'll take a look at those a little bit later. Captain Meets Adventure says, are you watching Picard on Amazon? I did watch the first episode, I haven't watched the second one yet, so no spoilers. And Glenn's joining us. Glenn's sorry, he was just finishing a race. Glenn says, remember the PS2, you could load up the game, then remove the disc and put in a music CD. Yeah, we did. Actually, there was another couple of games you could do that, one of which was Motocross Madness on the PC. And you could install the game. You could run, I think there was music on the CD as well, but if you didn't have the CD in, you could put another one, like just an audio CD, and it would play it. So at the time we were, it was George Michael's Greatest Hits. And I think it kept on playing outside, which was fantastic because it was a motocross game and it was out in the canyons. So that was good. Very enjoyable times. That must have been what, 99?
98.
98, 99.
No, it's 90, yeah, because I was pregnant with George.
Yeah, amazing times.
Staying up all night playing.
Actually, if anybody knows a good way of getting Motocross Madness to work on a modern PC, either in a virtual machine or something, with graphical acceleration, please get in touch. Seriously, I don't care how much it's going to cost. Well, I do, because that's stupid. But I just want to play that game again. I really do. I miss it.
Playing George Michael outside.
Yeah. Marco 420 actually raises a very valid point, actually. Intel has a lot of mind share. People still have bad memories about AMD, burning motherboards, high heat, all that kind of stuff, although they were the first to 5 gigahertz. Yeah, that is still a concern, and actually one which is even more relevant at the moment. Now, little quick show of hands. How many of you out there at the moment are running a AMD graphics card? And if so, are you using the latest Adrenaline drivers, and have you experienced problems, either instability, black screen of death, weird goings on? I've had my own system in the background, which has been suffering this week, and I thought it was because I flashed the BIOS on the motherboard, which I'm still not entirely ruling out, but also I did a Windows repair install because it was going a bit weird. And it did seem to rectify most of that, but it seems the Adrenaline driver, as soon as I tried installing it on 2 machines actually, I was getting the reboot of death, which is horrendous. The worst thing that AMD could do right now is to start giving worse drivers than they already do anyway. AMD's drivers have never been known to be particularly stable, which is where Nvidia won their kind of mind share. So essentially, as things stood, if you had an Intel system with a NVIDIA graphics card, you had lots of money, but you had a super stable system. Conversely, if you had less money, but you wanted to get equivalent performance almost, you would rock AMD motherboard, AMD processor, and a Radeon graphics card or an ATI graphics card. But generally you'd suffer from instabilities and driver issues, and they kind of worked through it. Towards the end of the Catalyst drivers, it was actually becoming rather stable, but now with this new Adrenaline driver, for me it seems to be less stable. I don't know if you guys and girls and others have experienced that kind of thing. If you have, let us know in the comments. I don't find them to be particularly good, and what has made things worse is Microsoft have WHQL certified the first edition of the Adrenaline drivers. So rather than installing the previous generation Catalyst driver, or whatever it was, it now tries to install the Adrenaline driver as a default driver, which, if that's causing you problems anyway, it's not going to make your problems any better because it's still installing exactly the same driver effectively. So again, yeah, let me know what you think. Maybe it's my system, maybe it's my setup, maybe it's the graphics card. That graphics card has been through hell and back. It's had various different coolers on it. It was used as a mining card. One of the fans failed, but generally it's been stable overall. But recently it seems like it's getting worse. Maybe it's time to chop it in, swap it for another one. We'll see. Glenn says 600X to 3600X for me was basically saw 30% improvement across the board. That's pretty impressive. Angry Doge says, can't wait to Intel Grand Tour release episode 2 from season 4, the Seamen. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that actually. That was quite enjoyable. I didn't think I'd like it because it's all boats and stuff, but it's actually good. Well, Tony says, for crying out loud, YouTube, stop muting the stream. Driving me insane now. Skystalk says, Motocross Madness was amazing. We played it with the group for years. We need to get back into that. Motocross Madness was amazing. For those of you not old enough to remember it, Motocross Madness was one of the first kind of proper 3D racing games for motorbikes. Probably around about 1997, 96 possibly. I think the entire game was only, what, 60 megabytes or something? It was such a small installation size, it was ridiculous. And it ran on essentially most potato-like machines. I think I ran ours on probably a Celeron 300 with a ATI Rage 2 2D card and a Voodoo graphics card add-on accelerator with yeah, and a beige PC case. Yeah,
Can you imagine?
Kath remembered that as the beige case. Widowmaker was our favourite map. Widowmaker was fantastic, and there was a part in the map which is like an Easter egg thing, which you could drive up the side of one of the canyons, drive along as far as you could, and all of a sudden you'd get hit by this shock, and it'd shoot you up millions of miles into the air, and it was fun at the time. I enjoyed it. Glenn says, no issues on RX 4700, 470, 570, 580 and Vega 56. So far, touch wood. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just these cards. Or maybe it's just my systems are getting old and they need trashing. I wish computers, when they went wrong, they would just die completely, rather than intermittent faults. It's ridiculous. Marco 420's off, so see you later, mate. Speak to you soon. Tony Pepper's in the house. Just switched on. Good evening. Good evening. You haven't missed much. I've just been rambling on. Welsh Tony says, wonder if it's on GOG. That's a good point, actually. I think it actually is. But I think I bought it again probably about a year ago, and I could not get it to work on Windows 10. Angry Dude says, Motor Madness 2. Oh no, the second one isn't as good. The first one was brilliant. The second one added a bit too much and it lost the flair and the skill.
Maybe it's because we didn't have George Michael on with it.
Okay, so we caught up with a comment. So yeah, I'm interested to know what you guys are having with AMD stuff. Maybe it's just me. Maybe there is some funkiness going on around here, so I may have to redevelop or redesign this entire studio. And actually that moves me on to the video we did as well, because it was a problem that I actually had. I installed Windows again on the PC behind me as a fresh install, and I created a memtest disk as well to test the memory in the system to see if it was duff. And as some of you have probably done before, if you get a memtest on a bootable USB stick, it creates a bootable disk. So you just plug it in, you can boot from it and use it, run it, etc, etc. All good, all happy days. But what you'll find is if you try and use that USB drive after, or format it and then try and do things with it, sometimes because of the way that the program actually formats the disk, it puts an EFI partition kind of halfway through the USB drive. So the way Windows works when you're in disk management, you've got your blocks of data, Actually, I'm going that way, but yours will go that way. So you've got your first partition there, then you've got another, then another, and another, and they go like that. So Windows can do anything to the last partitions. But if you've got a partition at this end, and you've got like a partition there, and a blank space there, you can't jump over the EFI partition to extend into the next one. You have to create a new drive. But also, you cannot remove the EFI partition from within disk management because it just isn't powerful enough. And I think they've probably deliberately done that to stop people messing up their systems. So we made a quick video using DiskPart, and there's actually a really easy thing to do in DiskPart where you can just do, it almost runs in like human language. It's actually very, very powerful, but human language based. So you go type in DiskPart in command line and you do list volumes or list disk, and it gives you a list of all your disks on your system, and then you can do select disk and then the number, and then you can do things from it in there. So DiskPart, you can do clean, format, create partitions, move, clean, all these different things. If you do the exclamation mark, the question mark, you get a long list of all the commands you can use. So it's a really, really powerful tool, DiskPart, from the command line. So we did a quick video on how to do that, and then how to get all the space back on the USB drive. So that was really handy. And actually one of you, I can't remember who it was, actually said, are you a mind reader? Because I actually literally just needed to do this. And the video was the first thing that came up when they searched for it. So that was
Bucky Cat.
Oh, Bucky Cat, that was, yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was happy days. Skystalker says Motocross Madness was released in 1998. Oh, good times.
Had it pretty new then,
good times.
It was December.
Yeah, I think we had it pretty much when it came out.
We did stay up until the milkman.
Yeah, Kath and I were playing Motocross Madness
My cousin.
all evening with Kath's cousin and a couple of friends, all the way through the night, and we were playing it until the sun came up the next morning, and we could hear the milk float delivering the milk in the morning. So yeah, we were seriously addicted to that, trying to get the highest possible scores and doing all these crazy jumps and stunts, and you had I think it was timed, wasn't it? So you only had like 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go round. So you have to work out the best kind of way of going around the track to get the most air so you can get the most tricks in. It was very, very good. Shame now because it's on CD and we don't have CD drives in our computers. But anyway, you can always create an ISO of it. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, that was how to remove EFI partitions on your PCI Express or SSD or hard drive or whatever it may be. The next one was the kind of, I thought it was going to actually cause a lot more conflict and discussion than it did, and that was the CIT power supply, this one here. So for those of you that haven't seen the video already, this power supply is from CIT. Now CIT are well known for making what can only be described as rubbish, to be fair. They look okay. CIT were probably better 5 years ago than what they are now. Their cases are pretty much junk. They're a kind of an upgrade from using a cardboard box or just having your components spread out on the floor. They're not great. They generally don't have particularly good airflow. The switches are normally very, very low quality, and I've had quite a few CIT cases actually where the whole problem with the PC, I thought the PC was fried, and it turned out it was a power switch or the reset button didn't work, and probably I would say at least 50% of the cases that I've owned from CIT I've had to either disconnect or swap around the reset button and the power on off button just to make the damn things work. So they've not got the best reputation, but they do serve a point in the market and they do sell absolutely tons and tons of cases and power supplies. So what surprised me, I was actually looking for a power supply for a build I was thinking of doing, and I wanted a budget power supply, but I didn't want it to be like a fire starting power supply, like the really, really bad ones. So I saw this one on Amazon. This is the CIT ATV 500 Watt Pro. Now the thing that surprised me with this is it's AFPC, so active power control essentially, so power delivery in it is actually quite good, and it's multi-voltage, all that kind of stuff that you expect to see on a more expensive power supply. But the weird thing is it's got 80 plus bronze. Now 80 plus bronze isn't the easiest of things to actually get on a power supply. Generally, you have to spend around about £35–40 or more to get that rating on a power supply, especially one with a reasonably good low noise fan. And this one's actually got all black cabling on it, which is captive, it's not modular, but it's got nice blacked out cabling. So you can put this into a modern build with a side panel, glass window, whatever, and it actually looks the real deal. But it cost, I think it was £27, which I think it was £27. I think someone said in the comments that the price just jumped up. Whether or not it's because I've been sending traffic there and people have been buying them, so they put the price up, which does happen on Amazon, unfortunately. But yeah, for £25, you can do considerably worse. Obviously, for more money, you can do better. But I thought this was fantastic value for money. I haven't used it in anger yet in a build, so obviously we don't know the full story yet. But that is 80 plus bronze is, I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but it's a very, very good indicator that the power supply is actually going to be pretty decent. Now, if you look at other power supplies, they're 80 plus bronze. You've got the EVGA BT450, Rio Toro Builder Series, the 500, 600 watt versions. What else is there? There's EVGAs, I said. The Be Quiet System Builder 9 or System Builder 8s. System 9, System 8s, which we've had before on the channel. All of those are normally around about the sort of £40 to £45 mark, depending where you get them from, with the black cabling. So for being almost, well, not half the price, but at least 2/3 of the price, this is looking like a really, really good option, which beforehand I would have looked at a CIT power supply and never used it because they are pretty bad. I have bought them in the past and I have used them in the past, but I certainly wouldn't recommend them, but they do fit at a certain price point. So yeah, I think personally this is actually a really good value for money. Whether they priced it wrong and it's a little bit too cheap and that's why they put the price up, but saying that even for £31, which I think it is now, this is actually not a bad looking power supply. So to look at, it all looks pretty much legit. You've got no sort of really horrible garish writing on the side, which stands out like a sore thumb. It's in a really nice satin matte black finish, which should fit in with most case builds. It's not that kind of usual flat black or gloss black, which looks a little bit tacky. It's got a nice big 14cm fan in there, and if you give it a good shake, it doesn't sound like there's any bits going to fall out of there. And there's plenty of shielding in there, so there's plastic shielding to cover up all the components. There's two massive heat sinks in there, which is always a good sign because the 80 plus rating is rated at 40 degrees centigrade. So if it gets to over 40 degrees, immediately it goes out of the bronze rating and it becomes basically a junk power supply, or sometimes they call them 80 plus whites, but they're not great. Oh, right, okay, so that's, Rich says 27.60 on Amazon, so it's good. Good price.
Have you opened it to actually look at the components to see how well built it is?
I haven't looked at the components inside yet, which I am considering. I'm looking at the capacitors already, and they don't appear to be Japanese capacitors, which I'm kind of not entirely surprised at. The soldering looks to be, from what I can see from initial looks to be okay. I wouldn't say it's anything to particularly write home about. Again, it's a £25, £27 power supply, £27.60, yeah. It's not an expensive power supply, but it's got a 2-year warranty. It's been rated at 80 plus bronze. I don't think there's too much to worry about. And you've got this really nice black cabling, kind of like the licorice cabling, and there's plenty of connectors on there. And one thing which was nice, 2 separate connectors for single SATA, single Molex. Especially for modern cases with all the LEDs or RGB controllers, just so you can run a little fly lead out to one of those without interrupting the rest of your cabling. Just a really nice little touch. I'm actually really looking forward to building a PC with this, which I don't often say that much, or maybe sometimes I say it and actually think after, should I? Sorry, I've not negotiated the flaps particularly well there. Where's my cup of tea? Sorry, I've got to have a drink. Glug, glug, glug.
Did it come with a UK power lead or was that left out?
It didn't come with any power lead at all. No power leads included. Richard asked that, yeah. Tony is saying, have you used that PSU yet? Heard a lot of bad things about CIT. I would say, yeah, online reviews, my personal experience with CIT power supplies has been generally, well, actually, I can't say wholeheartedly. I've never had one go bang, which is probably just jinxed the hell out of this. I've never had one go bang. I've never had one catch on fire. Yet. I actually don't know if I've had one fail. I honestly can't say that. I don't think I have. There was another brand which was around at a similar sort of time where they were making mostly gold coloured power supplies. And I've had a couple of those go. And I've had a couple where the fans have stopped working of that particular brand. I can't remember which it was now. And the power supplies got red hot because the fan stopped and they didn't have any sort of thermal cutout, which was bad. But I think we've moved on far enough that the actual technology inside of these has become so commoditized that it's actually quite easy to make a cheap power supply, or make a power supply cheaply, I should say, rather than a cheap power supply. I think that's always a big issue when people say, when they talk about cheap power supplies. There's a big difference between having a cheap power supply or having a cheaply made power supply, which are two completely different things. I actually think this is going to be alright. I genuinely do. The 80 plus certification, like I said before, for this end of the market is actually really, really difficult to attain. And they would not be allowed to sell this in the EU or the UK for that matter if that wasn't legitimate. Now, obviously, some things do slip through and people could put labels on it, etc. But the label itself actually is stuck up, like part of the box. It is part and parcel of it. It's got a unique, what's it called? A unique serial number, a product reference numbers, and all that kind of stuff, which electrical items in the UK and the EU do have to have. So, yeah, I think this is going to be okay. I really do. I hope it is. And I hope actually that it's a sign of things to come, that power supplies will be able to be sold cheaper, not made cheaper, but sold cheaper, because I think it's going to benefit everybody, especially system builders. And that's one of the things in a power supply that you spend money on, which you never really see any tangible value from. You spend money because you want quality and you want reliability, but you don't always really know for sure that you're spending that extra money and you're actually getting a value out of it. So to be able to use one of these, it's difficult to compare, but using a 500 watt, £25 power, £27.60 power supply versus a £50 power supply of a similar quality makes a lot of sense for me, especially those lower end. Anyway, moving on.
Do you want to do the last video of the week then?
Right, the last video of the week, which actually was kind of almost handy with this, was the thermal take, the S300. Now, have you watched it, first of all? I don't want to kind of spoil it for those of you that haven't, but spoiler alert, it's actually a decent case. The S300 follows on from the S500, which is bigger brother, and it shares an awful lot of design characteristics from cases like the Meshify, I would say, apart from the front, the Lian Li, the Dynamic, because of the fan placements, which Aletta loves. So Aletta, if you're watching this, yeah, I've acknowledged your case, there you go. But the case itself actually for just under £80, Thermaltake S300 is, I don't think it's officially released everywhere at the moment. It's available from Scan in the UK, because I think they're one of the main importers or distributors of Thermaltake in the UK. It will be on Amazon very shortly, I've been told. Two colours, there's a black and a snow edition, which is obviously in white. But yeah, it's a really good quality case. It's got some exceptionally good sound deadening on the front panel. the entire front panel is ridiculously heavy. Now, I would say it's probably, power supplies are generally quite heavy, and I would say it's a little bit heavier than the power supply, just for the front panel. So that gives you some idea of how heavy it is. There's a lot of weight to this front panel. Yeah, if you dropped it on your foot, you would break a toe, definitely. It's got a lot of weight to it, a lot of,
Maybe even your laminate.
it's very solid. Yeah, if you dropped it on laminate flooring, you definitely smashed the laminate flooring. It is a chunky beast. But it ticks a lot of boxes. Filters all round, although the filters on the bottom aren't particularly good, but they still filter. Loads of room for water cooling. 360mm rad in the front, 280mm rad in the top, 140mm rad in the back. Loads of room for hard drives. It's actually the Fractal Define 6, I think, the big one. And also it reminded me a lot of the Corsair, the 750D, which was a massive case. But it's kind of, if you imagine the 750D squished down a bit and without, well, actually that did have an optional mesh front. But if you imagine the 750D compressed down a little bit, it's basically that, but in a nicer, more modern, updated form with tempered glass, more filtration, all that kind of stuff. A really, really nice case. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's actually worth looking at. It's interesting to see when a slightly different version of a case or case design comes out, because it's always interesting to see what they've tweaked. They've come out with a really, really low price point of under £80, is kind of putting it into a territory where there isn't a lot of competition for that quality of a case. You've got smaller cases on the market, such as the PureBase 500, which I would say again shares a lot of similarities. But one thing I've noticed now, a lot of manufacturers are adding this extra section for case fans at the front. So you've got your front mounted fans, like 3 fans, but then you've also got one kind of butted up against it on a 90-degree angle, so you can get the visuals that way and that way. It started off actually with that, the InWin, the 101, where you've got the 2 fans there, so it's visible on that side. And it seems to be a lot of manufacturers in the last year or so are taking on that design. Tony's watched it, excellent. Angry Doe says, breaking news, British man activates PC bomb. Oh God, yeah. Please don't jinx my power supply. I think it's all going to be okay. Right, okay, we better do this giveaway actually, haven't we? Because time is getting on. So a couple of minute warning. So if you haven't already gone into our Facebook page and put your name down to win these, do so now. If you don't, well, you won't win them. Simple as that. So we'll give you a couple of more minutes to do that. Tony's just posted the link onto Facebook. Thank you very much, Tony.
What are one?
I think so. Is that the link to the actual giveaway? It could well be. Or it might just be to our page.
I'll do it to the...
Yeah, Kath will put it in for the actual, directly to the giveaway. You do, if you want to win the prize, I look to the screen, the camera isn't there, the camera is there. If you don't enter on the actual page itself where we done, or sorry, the post, the original post, unfortunately you won't be entered because all of the data, which gets kind of sucked into...
Random comment picker.
Yeah, random comment picker, that thing. So if you haven't commented on that post, that is the post we use to pick up the names and all the details. So if you haven't done your comment on there, you will not be entered. So you have been warned. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and do it now.
I've never got random comment picker open.
Angry Doe says, Mike, your PSU will blow up. Thank you very much. I'm very thankful for you for letting me know that. Okay. So let's see. Hopefully one of you is going to win this. So what we're waiting for that to do, oh, Kath's just setting it up. So this week coming, we've got, I'm not sure if I talked about it in last week. Did I mention to you the new Rio Toro products? I possibly did. I can't remember if I did or not. It's been a while. We have got a new headset from Rio Toro, which has been sent through to us for a review. This is the Aviator Classic.
Did you?
Which, I don't think I did mention this. I was going to mention it in the stream, but I didn't get round to it. So this is the Aviator Classic. Now this is a 7.1 channel virtual surround sound headset. It's got 53mm drivers, And the detachable microphone is USB, or you can use it on a mobile phone, PC. It's got a splitter cable and all that kind of stuff. It's got a little breakout box with a mute for the microphone, mute for the headset, volume up and down, all those kinds of cool things. It works in Windows directly, plug and play. Also, there is a driver which you can download, which adds other features, etc., etc. Windows Sonic picks it up as a surround device, so if you activate Windows Sonic, you get all those extra features in Windows 10 Sonic, which is really nice. And again, this was one of those kind of quite awesome experiences. I watched a little bit of Olympus Has Fallen, which is a Gerard Butler film, which is one I keep on going back to because actually there's a lot of movement, a lot of guns, lots of explosions, and those kind of scenes where people are walking down corridors and there's a lot of kind of background noises, so you can pick up on different aspects of the sound. And these were very, very bassy, very loud, but also very clear as well, which normally you don't get. Sometimes you get headphones which are kind of, they're really bassy, but they're a little bit muddy, so it kind of overwhelms you a little bit, so you don't get the mids and the highs. But this one seems to actually cover them all very, very well. Positional sound, not as good as the SFX Air, obviously, because they are in a complete league of their own, but these are considerably cheaper. So these are about £80 at the moment, or at least they will be, that they're about to be released in the UK. But for gaming and for watching movies, that kind of stuff, yeah, brilliant. And actually the microphone, it's got a detachable noise cancelling microphone. This so far, I did actually do some recording, which the video will be out coming up the next couple of days. But the sound quality from the microphone, I actually couldn't tell the difference, although it was slightly quieter. Quality-wise, I couldn't tell the difference between this and my lav mic, because I've recorded two videos, me talking and also one with me wearing the headset. And listening to the two lots of audio, the audio on these was very, very similar, just quieter than my lav mic, which actually surprised me because this lav mic's pretty darn good and it does a very good job of picking up. That's why I've used it for the last couple of years. So if audio is your thing, or maybe you're thinking about doing a YouTube channel and you want to do voiceovers into your productions, these are actually going to be right up your street. If you're going to go another way, like Sennheisers and a mod mic, you'd be spending a ton more money. So these are worth checking out. Again, I may well give these away at a later date, but wait for the reviews to come out and see what you guys think of it. I was actually really impressed. Rio Toro is not one of the names that I would immediately associate with quality headphones. Their keyboards and mice are really good, so I had no reason to think they wouldn't be. And I think I'm right in thinking that a lot of the people that are in Rio Toro were part of Corsair. So a lot of Corsair stuff, which is really good, you can see the similarities. So if you like your Corsair products, definitely check out Rio Toro's. There's a lot of similarities. That's all I'll say for now.
Did you do the mouse?
I haven't talked about the mouse. I will talk about the mouse. Where is the mouse box? There's many boxes that have been unboxed. Actually, also another thing we got is sent a pair of AirPods, the AirPod Pros, but I don't know who sent them to me. So I'm really struggling to review them because I don't know where they're from. Or do you think I should just review them and just be completely open and honest, and then wait for whoever sent them to say, oh, by the way, those were ours? That might be a funny way of doing it. There you go. Well, hopefully if whoever sent me the AirPod Pros, they are actually, well, I'm not going to show you the box, but they're called Black Pro. So if you've sent me a set of Black Pro headphones and you've got a picture of the box, which you can send me to prove you sent them, then yeah, get in touch, because I want to do the review. I can't find the box for the Rio Toro mouse. We're done with that. Well, I would show you the Rio Toro mouse. It's a new mouse called the Nadix, which I thought was down here somewhere. Well, I've actually been using it on my desktop, and it has actually become my daily driver for my...
on top of the computer.
Oh God, yeah, there it is. Surely one of you could have seen that on the stream. Come on, help me out here.
You can see the inches there.
You should have recognised that that was a Rio Toro Nadix box. So there we go. That is the Rio Toro Nadix. It is a RGB gaming mouse, 2-year guarantee. It's got a Prism RGB, as do a lot of the RGB products from Rio Toro. But this has got a really, really good sensor. So it's got the PixArt. I'm trying to remember which model number it is, but I can't see it on the box. I think it's the PixArt 3320 sensor, which is a 10K DPI. And yeah, actually very, very nice mouse. You can't really see it particularly well on there. I did post a picture of it on the Instagram so you can see the RGB. But yeah, really comfortable, and actually quite a big improvement over the Aurochs mouse, which has been my other daily driver on my PC here, which you can see here. There's the Aurochs, which I actually really like. And the RGB actually goes really well with the Rio Toro, I can't remember, Ghostwriter RGB, which is the, again, my daily driver here, which has been, how long has that keyboard been there? It's got to be at least 2 years now. Must be. And I still love that keyboard to this very day. Very nice to type on, but now I've got 2 of them, so I've got one on my desk over there, one here, and I've been using the Aurochs mouse here and the Nadix mouse over there and swapping between the 2. And actually I think the Nadix mouse, RGB wise, much better. Both of them very similar quality wise. Sensitivity wise, I would say the Nadix is slightly more sensitive, but for me personally, I prefer a slightly larger mouse. So the Aurochs feels more comfortable for me to use, but between the 2, they're really good. So anyway, upcoming review coming out on that. Angry Doe says it was camouflage since there's like 20 boxes. Oh yeah, it's true. Welsh Tony says looks like a nice headset. Look forward to the video. It is actually a really nice headset. Sorry, I just read Skystalker's comment. Aviator, cool. Yeah. Actually, the Aviators, going back to these, if you don't mind very briefly, if I quickly take them out of the box so you can see what they look like. The Aviators, they actually get their name from their design. So Skystalker will know what I'm talking about with this. So if you've ever watched any TV programs or documentaries or anything like that, where you've seen people in aircraft and you've seen the headphones they wear, that is that kind of design. So you've got the very kind of classic aviation style headset really. And one thing I noticed straight away, as soon as I took them out of the box, the ear pads, they are so soft. They are ridiculously soft. It's so comfortable. I've got to put them on now. They're really nice. Kath says I'm talking really quietly. I'm not, no. They're not officially noise cancelling, but because they're quite good fit on my ear holes, these things, they do actually block out a lot of the outside noise. So you can still hear stuff going on just about, but I quite like that in a headphone, especially if you're like in a normal household. You've got things going on around you and you don't want to be completely isolated away. So if someone calls you or you've got young kids or something and one of them shouts out or screams out, you want to be able to hear that over what you're doing, but you don't want to be disturbed by it. So these are quite a nice balance between that, and also price wise, and they're actually quite light as well. Even though they've got metal arms, they're actually quite lightweight, and they do feel super comfortable. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll do a full review on those coming up very shortly. So if you're looking at buying some headphones at the moment, hold off, wait till I've done the review, then maybe get some of those. What's that? Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, also, right, you've got a couple more minutes before I do the draw, or Kath does the draw rather. Also, probably a good idea to pimp out our t-shirts, which Kath's dropped the links in, I think, or is about to. So if you haven't already purchased yourselves a Mike's Unboxing Classic Style tee, which are available in black, which is the original. There's also available in blue, grey and khaki, I think is the official colour name.
Whites won't show the reviews on how to.
Yeah, if you buy the white t-shirts, because I'm an idiot and I didn't do the logo properly, where it says reviews and how-tos, I didn't surround it in black. So if you do get the white t-shirt, the reviews and how-tos bit will disappear, but it is there, but you can't see it very well. My bad. Oh, come on. So also coming up, completely departing away from the techie stuff, going back to what we said about the ecosystems. So we've been sent these from our friends over at Reolink. So this is the Reolink completely wireless security camera. And they've also sent over the recharging station or solar panel. So with this, you can basically do what you can with most security cameras, but you don't have to worry about keep on charging the batteries or having a power feed going to it. So maybe you've got like a tree in your back garden. You can actually strap this in. There is a strap included. So you can strap it to a tree nice and high up so it gets a nice good look over your back garden. And you can hook up the solar panel somewhere. There's a lead on there so you don't have to be directly next to it. But that will keep the battery charged up indefinitely. So as long as it doesn't get damaged in some way by something, you'd never really have to touch it. And actually, yeah, Kath has a good question. Kath said even in the UK, because we don't get the most sunshine, but these new solar panels are actually really optimized for weather patterns. So you don't have to be in like California getting 24-hour sun. These will work as long as it's light. There is some kind of daylight, then they'll work. So maybe if you're in Iceland, certain times of the year where it's kind of like dark all day apart from a couple of hours, then not a great idea. But for most people slightly down the hemisphere, these are going to be absolutely fine and that'll keep it charged up. Again, it depends on a lot of things like how often it's going to be triggered, because obviously there is a battery in there which is rechargeable. So if it's constantly being triggered, say for instance you're in a really busy area or there's cars going past, or whatever, a lot of foot traffic, it's going to run the battery down quicker.
You could put it somewhere random.
Yeah, you could put, as long as there's a Wi-Fi connection, you can put it somewhere within Wi-Fi range. So I got a feeling you can actually use an SD card with it as well.
Can we strap it on the cat?
No, we can't strap it to the cat, Gav. So anyway, as soon as the weather clears up a little bit and it gets a little bit warmer outside, and actually I've cut the grass and stuff like that, we'll be doing an unboxing review on that. I'm actually looking forward to that because that is one thing. Our garden is quite long. We've got about a 60, 70 foot long garden, and I really would like to put a camera at the back looking over into the back lane to see what people are dumping in the back lane, which I can't really get a power feed to easily without putting like trunk in and metal cable in, and if you go by all the building regs, you'd have to put armoured cable in and fused spurs and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not that bothered. But because this is really flexible and really easy to use, I know the Wi-Fi gets to the end of the garden to a reasonably good spec, thanks to our Nova mesh. So that is going to be really handy, because there's actually somebody who, there's a garage which we believe possibly belongs to us as part of the house, but we've never actually officially got it, and someone's got stuff in there. So it'd be nice to see who it is who's going in there so we can approach them and see what the deal is and hopefully reclaim our garage. And then we can put all this stuff in the garage. And it'll be safe because it'll be watched by the Reolink. This thing's going to pay for itself, I swear. Anyway, moving on.
3 Reolinks.
Oh, Skystalker's got 3 Reolink cameras. How much is a solar panel? I've got to be honest, I do not know off the top of my head. That's a very good question. Scott says you can use an SD card with the Reolink. Awesome. I was pretty sure that was the case. Good stuff. Anyway, we'll do a full review on that and you'll get the full SP, and we'll see what the actual range is like, because I know with some of these cameras, although they say they work up to a certain range, if you're not at that kind of sweet spot, it starts lagging out or you don't get notifications and all that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely be taking a look into that. Welsh Tony says that the solar panel is £25, which actually is not bad value for money. If it's certainly a lot cheaper than digging up your garden and putting armoured cable or like some kind of external power source to it. So as long as you've got a reasonable amount of daylight, it should be absolutely fine. Obviously, if you're putting it in a tree in the middle of summer when you've got all the leaves in blossom, it's not a great idea because that's going to block some of the light. But the option is there, so you may be able to place it somewhere nearby or maybe towards the bottom of the tree even, so you're still going to get daylight hitting the bottom. Anyway, there you go. Rebecca says hi. Hi Rebecca. And Tony or Kath will sort a link for that, no doubt. So I think that's pretty much time to do the draw for the Creative Outlier Air
Can you buy
earbuds.
the solar?
Yeah, I think you can. Somewhere. Possibly. I'm sure the solar panel. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so these are the Creative Outlier Air headphones, which I've actually left in there charging. Isn't that a lovely case? I really do like that. The amount of times I've kind of taken this set, well, not this set, but the gold version out, and it's just really nice to have them in your pocket, in that case, knowing that they're secure, and like you can shake them around like crazy, and nothing happens to them. They still keep on charging. And how much battery have we got left in there? So the actual power bank itself needs a little bit of juice because you've got a red light on there, which means it needs a little bit of juice. Normally you'd have a blue light on each one of those. So if you get a blue light on the L, blue light on the R means it's charging. And the power bank is showing, yeah, that's still charging now. So the L and R lights are still on. When they go out, it means it's fully charged. When the light in the middle, where it's got the power sign, that means the actual case is being charged. Which is really nice because a lot of these AirPod devices and AirPod devices, the amount of questions I get on a daily basis, problems with charging, especially the TWS i11s, oh my days. That video is going to make me a millionaire, I swear. The amount of views that gets, there must be so many people having problems all the time with them. So don't be like them, get yourself some Creative Labs ones and you can know if it's charging or not because you've got LEDs that tell you what is going on. Anyway, they don't even fall out, he says, wiggling them precariously. So I suppose really I should let them go flat. So anyway, that is the Creative Outlier Air. And hopefully you've all entered to win them. Because you will be getting these ones. And if you want them signed by Kath, Kath says she will sign them for you. We've got the Sharpie ready, so...
Have a selfie of Mike with it.
Or you can have a selfie with me with them.
When someone came to buy something, remember?
Oh dear. Right, okay, so is everybody in it to win it? Happy days, okay. Rebecca says, I want to be in the drawing. Okay, have you done it? Come on, Rebecca. Skystalker says, if I win, I want it signed by both. Okay. Well, there's two sides of the box which have got little on. Actually, no, we could sign it there. Kath and Mike will sign out for you. Tony says, nah, I don't want Mike. Just Kath.
Put it in your...
Thanks.
Reply to us with your postal address.
Okay, so, well, tell you what, it's 22:48 at the minute, so we'll give it 2 minutes. So, if Rebecca, if you still want to win them, you've got 2 minutes to go to the Facebook page and to put a nice comment in there. Actually, it doesn't have to be a nice comment, but it makes life easier. Bills and Coins says, I want Kath and Mike to sign it. Well, thank you very much. Now, that's one thing I was thinking of doing, actually. I was thinking of getting Mike's Unboxing t-shirts made up, but get them printed in white and then signing them. Possibly. Is that a thing? Do people do that?
Well, yeah, but...
That's a bit... Yeah. Who do you think you are? Right, okay, that'll do, that's enough. Right.
I don't think she's done it yet.
She's not done it? ClickTech UK says, when you hit 1 million, maybe. Bills and Coin says he wants equally distributed signage.
It's not been done yet.
Welshstone says, I want Kath and Kath to sign. Is that an option? Don't see why not. Oi, get off my desk. Maisie. Get down.
Does she know she's got to click on that link up there?
Oi, get off there.
She doesn't know. So to click on the link in Facebook.
Right, Rebecca, this is your last chance. If you want to win them, you have got to go to the Facebook page and put a comment on. The link is in...
Above.
Click text says, I thought you were shouting at Kath then. No, it's a bloody cat. There's enough cat fur in my life without all around my PC.
Let's put her on, just through very quickly. She can come on camera.
Right, who wants to see Maisie? You see this fluffy little monkey?
Oh, there we go, Mabes. Good daddy.
Come on. No, she's not having it.
She's got no legs because her fur is too long.
She's like a furry monkey. Kath, you got a shot of her butthole then?
Oh,
We'll have to,
suitable for children.
we'll have the not safe for things on there.
Kev.
Get the cats to sign it too. Yeah, they could use their toe beans to sign it.
Oh, I love toe beans.
Somebody had to, yes, and it would be Kev. Right, okay, it's
I'm gonna get her stuffed.
it's 22:51, so I think that is it. So Kath, refresh the prize generating tool.
Wait a minute, let me just check if she's done it, and then we know one way or the other.
Why are cats so good at video games? I don't know. Because they have 9 lives. Oh dear.
Done it, but we'll do it anyway.
Right, Kath's doing the draw now, so it's just going through, and we've got 22 unique entries. So you've got a 1 in 22 chance of winning what is essentially, well, best part of 80 to 90 quid's worth of headset. Rebecca says, I do not have Facebook. No, 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 no. Sorry. It's Facebook only at the moment due to...
Not being able to message on YouTube.
yeah. Actually, if YouTube started a messenger service, that would be amazing. Anyway, I digress. Right, so Kath, press the button. Let's see who's won.
Drum roll.
No drum roll tonight, I've got sore throat. I've got coronavirus kicking in. I can't see what that says.
Nikola.
So the winner is... I think that's the second time, isn't it?
I think it is.
It's Nikola Welchev. So whoever that is, if you're in the chat, Nikola, I can't read it, it's so far away. Welchev?
Yeah, Nikola Velchev.
Yeah, Nikola
Velchev.
Velchev. So if they're in the...
I can't remember.
That sounds familiar. I can't remember. I think
They've won before.
they have won something before. So it just goes to show, if you've won something, it is completely random, and random comment picker picks up these things at random. So yeah, we've got a winner. Awesome. And hopefully it's someone who is in the United Kingdom.
I think he was.
Because that makes it safer for me to post in these scary, scary other countries. We're not in the EU anymore. So that's the name there, Nikola Velchev. Velchev. I do apologise if I've completely bastardised the pronunciation there, but happy days. So we have a winner. Welsh Tony says, make the giveaways UK only. I got to be honest, we did consider that, but it is a kind of global audience, and
mostly USA based.
a lot of people, a lot of the viewers actually, Australia, Canada, America, India. So it would be unfair to.
A lot of reviews.
Yeah, it'll be bad to exclude viewers. I don't like excluding people. I don't think exclusion is a good thing. It would be safer for me for postage costs, but hey, what the heck. It's a global channel, so it's a global giveaway. Angry Toast says make the giveaways Bristol only. Yeah, that's not bad. ClickTech says make them England only just to spite Welsh Tony. Oh dear. Yeah.
What do we give Creative Air?
Tony only went off what Mike said. Yeah, I'm only messing. It's just in the UK, if we're getting stuff sent to the UK from other countries, generally it's actually very, very cheap. Some things you get from China come through for like 17p or something ridiculous. The postage is so cheap. I guess generally it's uninsured and it takes a while to get there. But because we use Royal Mail or whatever postage service is, it always seems really expensive to get stuff out of the country. So it does cost many pounds, but it doesn't matter. It's all good in the hood. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you all for joining us, and hopefully you've not missed us too much from last week when I was ich bin krank, or sick as it's in German. So I think that is it. Yes, definitely. I think I've covered everything. We've given away the headset again. Oh, we haven't said what we're going to give away next week, have we? What are we giving away next week, Half?
Pebbles?
Oh yeah. Okay. So next week's giveaway will be the Creative. I want to say Creative Labs, but they're not Creative Labs anymore, are they? Or are they? Don't think they are. They want to be known as Creative, so we'll call them Creative. Oh no, it says manufacturer Creative Labs.
They're on social media.
Europe office Creative Labs. I can call them Creative Labs. I much prefer calling them Creative Labs. Much better. So, if you want to be in to win the Creative Pebble V2s, then we'll be posting a link on Facebook as per usual. So if you want to be in to win, go ahead and enter on there. We're going to look at this Facebook thing because there's a few people. Actually, can we do it on Instagram? It was one or the other, wasn't it? Hold the line, caller. We'll just see what other options there are because obviously not everybody has got Facebook, even though there is allegedly 3 billion users on Facebook. Can we do it?
I don't know who's easy.
Instagram is Facebook though, isn't it?
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. ClickTech UK says by email. Oh my god, I think my spam box couldn't cope with that. It's bad enough as it is at the moment.
Who's that?
ClickTech says, how about doing it by email? Skysucker says, thanks Mike and Kath, you guys make me smile. It's a good job you're not a baby because they smile when they have wind. Okay, so if you want to win these are going to be in the next giveaway. I'll put a post on Facebook, so if you want to be in it to win it, make sure you go onto Facebook, go to Mike's Unboxing, like the page, etc. and put a comment on the post for the giveaway. If you haven't got a Facebook account already, hey, do you need another reason? Go get a Facebook account. All you need to do, yeah, you don't have to use it, just sign up and like the page, put a comment on the giveaway, and you're in to win. And then once you've won, you can delete your Facebook account. Simple as that. That's what everyone should be doing. ClickTech says, make a new Gmail account for each giveaway. Bloody hell.
I'm Tony, you're not the only one. Nooba be moaning.
Robert Hutchinson says, do the giveaway by messenger pigeon. It's not a bad idea. Okay, so there we go. That's wrapped up for this week's live stream. Don't forget to watch the videos during the week. And if you are bored and lonely and you want to see my smiley face or hear Kath's dulcet tones, make sure to check out the back catalogue of videos, which there's nearly 1,000 of them now, so you can't say there's nothing you want to watch because there's bound to be something. Actually, no, we're not going to go into that. So yeah, watch the videos, stick a like on them, stick a comment on them, and actually see which video is the oldest video that you can watch without wanting to puke. That would be good, and let me know in the comments that you've watched it after watching this stream, and I definitely will reply to you. So I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and thank you all so much for the live stream. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching. And this is the bit where I struggle to find the button, as it always does. Night everybody, thanks for watching. And